Hey, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Shareece. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and I specialized in trauma. I have a lot of experience working with children who were victims of abuse and also with teenage offenders. So I know a lot about sex education. I've had to teach a lot of it to kids, and I wanted to provide some insight in commentary that Funky Dineva gave. I don't mean to pick on Funky Dineva, but I watch him all the time. So some of the things he says, he has a lot of misses, especially when it comes to women in general, like being victimized, and then around parenting. I think because his own parenting was quite toxic and abusive, so he misses a lot of things because he hasn't had to recreate that in his own adulthood because he doesn't have any kids. So I saw him talking about a viral moment, I think, a video of a woman who was beating her daughter on live because she took a video of herself masturbating and sent it to a boy. The girl is 13. She tells her, I'm not playing the video. She tells her, say that you're not going to be a hoe. And so the girl she's laying on the couch. Her mom has the video propped up for live, Instagram live. She's streaming all of this on Instagram live. The girl is fully clothed. The hits didn't seem like they were that hard, but that girl was screaming like it was really hard. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Children's sensitivities could be different. My mom says, so she has to say, I'm not gonna be a hoe anymore. Her mom hits her. I don't know how many times she had to do it, maybe 3, maybe 5, right? I've seen worse, you know what I mean? So this is abusive, but it's not the most abusive thing I've seen, right? This is like psychological abuse. I wouldn't quite fall it under physical abuse because I doubt she had any welts. I think it was a belt she was using. I doubt she had any welts, but it's very sad, right? It's just a very sad thing to see. And then to be shaming your daughter online, I do think is a form of emotional abuse. So I wanted to give some commentary and feedback from my clinical perspective on how I think it should better be handled. What a child doing, because around 13 is when a lot of kids are having their first kiss, or they've already seen porn, somebody's already shown it to them, something like that. So it's a time to have more conversations, right? Kids will give you opportunities to educate them about sexual health. So Funky Dineva got a lot wrong. So we're gonna review some of his commentary
about this punishment that feels satisfying to me, even though I know it's wrong, right? Like I know that this is wrong, and especially when you're talking about broadcasting it and sending it out to the world for the world to see. Now that is wrong, and you can't beat sexual desire out of children. I'm going to be very honest with you. At the point in which that lid has been taken off that can of worms, you can't put that lid back on. You can't catch your child doing something, having sex, performing sex, masturbating at 13 and think that you're going to whoop them.
I would agree. Especially because, right, sometimes kids are exposed at 5 to nudity or to sexual behavior. Their brains don't understand it, but they become curious and they want to recreate it. At the time it's been invited, it cannot be unlearned in their mind. Sexuality is a natural part of being human, and so it doesn't go away. We hope that it develops in a healthy way as a child gets older, but once they already have the idea or they've already seen something or done something, it's time to have an older conversation, right? So a conversation about sex might come before you really wanted to have it, right? Because 13-year-olds shouldn't be having sex, but you can still educate them on how to be safe if they are going to do it, because most of them, once they've already started doing it, start to sneak.
And then that's a wrap. That somehow magically they're not going to do it again until they turn 18. That's not how that works. So there is something somewhat primitive about this punishment, but it still feels kind of satisfying because it's like, girl, you got to know better than this. And then here is the challenge.
I would disagree that there was nothing satisfying about this. I grew up in one of those households where we didn't really talk about sex. The general idea was don't do it. So there was no There was no like overt shaming. So from just my personal perspective, my clinical perspective, there is nothing satisfying for me watching a young girl be traumatized. Like she's going to remember this as a trauma experience. She's going to carry the fear in her body. She's going to have misunderstandings about like what does it mean to pleasure myself? What does it mean to share it with another person? These are supposed to be natural things, but now it's been tainted, right? Because she was not being supervised properly, because her mom is miserable. I don't know. Those vibes are prevalent throughout the video, that in this household people don't talk and they are not connected. So it's unfortunate. So I just see so much sadness and pain. So watching someone who is sad and in pain be hit is not satisfying to me. This is not an appropriate consequence to a young girl exploring her sexuality.
That I have for us. Because I'm not going to lie to you, it pains me sometimes when I'm on the phone with some of my friends, male or female, and they start talking about the things that their children are doing or have done. And I be thinking to myself, like, girl, I know you for real, for real. I've been knowing you since elementary school. And you was the one letting the security guards hunch you in the stairwell at the school.
No, no. She was the one that was manipulated and raped. She didn't let. Because a 15, 16-year-old cannot give consent to 28-year-old, 35-year-old, 44-year-old. That was predatory, right? Somebody who likes little girls is a predator. She didn't let him.
So how dare you stand up now and want to be so damn self-righteous about what these kids is doing? Because bitch, I've been knowing you since kindergarten and I know the stuff that you was doing. Here is what I will say.
I think it was at this point in the chat when someone said, this topic is too complex and too nuanced for a comedian or like a comedy special. I don't think it's too much for a comedian, because I also who else do I follow? What's his name? He's doing his Flowers tour. Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson is very critical thinker, very nuanced in his commentary. He's a comedian. He literally does stand-up comedy. It's not too complicated for a comedian. It's too complicated for someone who doesn't understand the nuances of childhood psychology and the power dynamics between children and adults. Funky, I mean, I think he's made it pretty clear in a lot of his commentary that he just doesn't really get it. He just doesn't really get it. And that's okay. I think he's open to some feedback, but it's been a long time that he says things like this and thinks it's okay. He also had his own experience of being victimized by a much older person when he was a teenager. I think somebody in their 40s when he was like 15 or something. Just very sad and very sick. But often for boys, they don't view themselves as victims. They feel like they had some agency in what they were doing. And oftentimes girls feel like they also had some agency, but your mind is literally underdeveloped, not fully developed until 21, 25. And so anyone who's taking advantage of you or like exploring things with you that are far beyond your age is taking advantage, is manipulating you.
And I don't know, we all became sexually active at different ages. At 13 years old, at 14 years old, at 15 years old, the only difference between us and these kids now is that they got camera phones and stuff and we didn't. All right. Now, I'm not saying everybody was hot in the ass, because everybody wasn't hot in the ass. But around 13 is that age where people start kissing and touching and exploring. And it don't make it no better now that they have unfettered access to porn and anything they want to see. And this is a result of y'all being those types of parents that just swear your kids gotta have a phone. Teacher better not take my baby phone. This is one of the downsides of progression.
I don't I don't know if that really makes any sense. Just because your kids have a phone means they're going to be watching porn on it? Not necessarily. Most kids don't search up that on their own. They expose it to other kids, right? Somebody older showed it to one kid, that kid shows it to another kid. Most kids don't go looking it up. Some kids do, but most kids don't really go looking that up on their own. And there are a lot of parental controls. I have a son. There are a lot of parental controls you can have on a phone or an iPad so that they cannot search these kinds of things. There is never going to be 100% protection, not protection, control of what your kids are doing. So before there were phones, I knew kids that were at school in the computer room looking up porn. It's not like it's the technology like being so close to home that's making it. I don't. And before that, they were sneaking magazines. Like there was always an opportunity to get these things if they want. So that doesn't make any sense, right? That's not logical. It's not the technology. We see it more because even I remember when I was in middle school and someone brought a Polaroid picture of a naked girl. People were always doing that. Now it's easier to do, but I don't think it's like worse or more prevalent or anything like that because of phones.
My mama told me that she didn't know you couldn't get pregnant by kissing a boy until she was in her 20s. She said because that's what her mama and that's what the people around her had told her, and she didn't have anything of she didn't have anything around her to prove otherwise. My mama, and then she said, but see, we could never get away with that with y'all generation because y'all got the internet. My mama said she was in her 20s when she found out you couldn't get pregnant by kissing a boy.
That is unfortunate. There, however, are books at the library and encyclopedias that provide sex education. Yes, that would be harder for her to get, but she could have gotten that information if she wanted.
And so I think that this is one of the downsides and one of the down negative vestiges of us giving our kids technology, freedom, watching Love and Hip Hop and Real Housewives, letting them follow Black China. This is a vestige of the music, letting Cardi B and Meg the Stallion and all these other people be pumped in and out of their head. And then here's the thing. And then let's talk about it if we're going to talk about it. In the African American entertainment space in particular, our artists are over sexualized. Like, if I told you right now, 30-second lightning round, name 5 current white female singers or rappers who are scantily clad and talk about how good their pussy is and how you want it. I give you 30 seconds to name 5, and you probably can't even name 2 because I can't name 1.
This example is another fallacy. It's like illogical because it doesn't prove anything. The highest rate of teen pregnancy is among white girls. So, like, what? I don't. What's the point of what I think? Often in the Black community, people think one of the only ways out is to be in sports or to be a rapper, and so those are the people that are idolized. Just because they're idolized and people try to replicate some of the things that they do around money and having a beautiful woman, all of those things, doesn't mean kids are directly replicating what Meg the Stallion is saying. A lot of the people are relating to the feelings in the music, right? Like when Nicki Minaj was singing, I don't know what people were doing. Lil Kim is before my time. I don't think anyone was more sexual around that time. I think the imagery started to shift when gangster rap came. When Puff did his, they started calling women bees and stuff like that. I think that the way men treated women started to become like worse. And maybe some whole-ish behavior started increasing because women viewed men more transactional or men viewed women as more transactional. But I don't have any evidence, any data to support that throughout history, because there have always been sexuality and sex in music. All that rock and roll stuff is nothing new. The girls are doing nothing new. It's just that the girls are the one doing it. Men were the ones telling these stories before. Now women are doing it. I don't think it's making young girls any more interested in having sex earlier than not. I think the music is just music. And even though it often appears that everyone is obsessed with what rappers and singers are doing and actors, I don't think that's how they live their life. They want to know what other people are doing in their life to gossip about them. But I'm not sure anyone is like emulating Cardi B. They might be struggling in their life and relate to Cardi B, but I don't know the girls that are saying, I'm going to become a stripper like Cardi B. What? No. Girls become strippers because they are living in survival mode. They're trying to figure things out. I don't think they're copying. I do remember I think it was Lawrence Fishburne's daughter who said she wanted to be a porn star or something. To me, before I think she's looking at black people and thinking that's cool, because what black person is making that a cool thing, I think that speaks more to her childhood. And I don't know what happened in her childhood, but I would guess that whatever happened in her childhood informs why she would want to choose a life like that over, I guess, a more respected profession.
I'm waiting on y'all in the chat. Okay, so somebody put Shakira. I think Shakira is a. I think Shakira. Somebody said Sabrina Carpenter. So they say Iggy Azalea. Madonna don't count, Chad. That's not for our generation. So they say Sabrina Carpenter. Charlie XX. Okay, I'm old. I don't know who some of these people are. Chapel Roan. These are the names that was on the American Music Awards. Them people is not. Shakira don't count because Shakira is our age, and Shakira, in my opinion, was reasonably sexy for the time. Okay, but name a white artist that is out there in the G-string a thong with big ass and big titties talking about how good their coochie is and how you want to get this coochie and how you got to buy me bags to get in all this good white coochie. And yes, you got to fly me out if you want some of this good white coochie.
Q, like a lot of men, because he's still a man, even though he's a gay man, believe this idea that is false, that black women are the ones that are money hungry. Most women want to date up, want to marry up. White women are always being told that they should marry someone with money. They're not shamed for it in the same way that black women are shamed for it. But that goes back to the theme, the belief that black women are supposed to struggle. And so even Q, in all of his love for black women, hold some of these beliefs because he's seen them so much in his life. I'm not advocating for anyone to go out there and sell their body, but I am saying that it would be smart to partner with a man with resources. I think it would be dumb to choose a man who has no resources. And I don't care what race you are. We live in a patriarchy. I live in America. I'm not going to be with a man who has no money. That literally makes no sense.
You want to marry me, you got to be able to satisfy my big white coochie. You can't talk to me unless you got $30,000 for my big white coochie. Like,
he's very funny though, right? This is why I watch him. He's also from Miami, and I love, I just love the braggadociousness of people from Miami. I think he's very funny, but yeah, he's definitely missing the mark.
And when I say it like that, it makes it sound so vulgar, but at its core, that's what it is with black people. Like and so it teaches our girls like your value in life is your big black coochie. Oh, he want to get my coochie
again. But this reminds me of something. I've been watching a lot of Erica De Niro videos. Okay, it reminds me something of what she said about how some men want to be desired in the way that women are desired. They don't want to be a woman, but they would like a man to desire them or to want to give to them in a similar way that they give to a woman. What? Yes, you have to be able to satisfy me. There are some things that you do have to do. Why are you making it sound like that's like a lot? Like that doesn't really sound like much, right? We should be connected. We should enjoy sharing bodies. What are you?
Look at the way my big black coochie look in Chanel. I want to get flued out so somebody could mash up my big black coochie. That's what all the damn music is about these days. What y'all want these kids to do? And then they don't turn 13 and they big black coochie don't got hot. What y'all want them to do?
Literally, it's nothing new under the sun. There were 13-year-olds getting pregnant decades ago. There's 13-year-olds getting pregnant now, right? Unfortunately. There's 15-year-olds. I was a teen mom. Like, there's literally nothing new. And in fact, teen pregnancy has decreased over the decades. So it's not factual, right? And so I just wanted to share the nonsensical part, he gave his comedic commentary on it, but it was a lot of, falsehoods. I think it's very important to give kids sex education starting at 2. We start with good touch, bad touch, and then you work your way up to consent, respecting your body. And I don't care if you're a boy or a girl, your body is a temple and you should respect your body. Let's see what else he has to say.
And so I see people putting like Miley Cyrus, Iggy Azalea, or whatever. I may be wrong. I don't think they're as vulgar as the black. Iggy Azalea don't count because she's in the black space. I'm talking white artists marketed to white people talking about they big white coochie. Where it's at? I need 10 grams for my big white coochie. My big white coochie. They saying Miley Cyrus. Maybe. But the point I'm making is our girls and boys are just seeing all this over-sexualized content, and this is what happens.
It's literally not what happens. Sexuality is a natural part of getting older. When you go through the secondary sex characteristics process and the hormones are going, you are going to have a desire for sex. It's natural. There's nothing to be ashamed about, this desire. But we do want our girls and boys to protect themselves from STDs, from being taken advantage of, from pregnancy. And so giving them the information is what is most powerful. Like taking not providing them with what is sexual intercourse, or what is oral sex, or how sensitive the clitoris is and how many nerve endings are there to satisfy you. They need to be given that information so that they can have agency and take ownership of their body. Some girls will need birth control so that they don't get pregnant. Some will also need to walk around with condoms. Giving them that, like at my high school, they used to have a clinic on campus that you could go and get free condoms. Providing them with the information, helping a young girl understand that her worth is not in seeking male validation, so that she doesn't, send boys these videos to feel good or get compliments about herself, that she has to do that from the inside out, right? That's that low self-esteem kind of behavior. So yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments about this review. I have been thinking about doing actually forgot. I used to want to do a series on sex education and then I forgot, but I feel very proud of the way that I've parented my son and given him information and how much of a wonderful young person he is. So I'm thinking of revisiting doing a series on educating parents, especially on how to talk to their kids about sex. Or maybe I'll just talk to teenagers directly. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Share it with somebody who could learn something from this. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And thank you for watching.